I am a Kootenai and I teach sign language. I've teach sign language in Cranbrook, BC, and at Creston, BC last year. And now I'm going to teach a few sign language here. Like land, earth, we called it amak. And na amak, that's land. I was born in this land. This woodpecker, we called it kupok. It's a bird. Atne patisitamne kupok. That's a woodpecker. A child. Kakyam is gamo. And Skamo. Grandpa. Come in. Pickaxe. Mudakitse. Keep. Come in. Kapapa. This grandpa, I've lost my grandfather a long time ago. Fix it, like we fix anything. We say, I'll fix it. Come in. What? That means what is it? What? That's kapsen. Gone, or none. They're all gone. There was none. And Salone, Konabon in Arctikiachon, Salone. Salone. One, we say, okay, it's one, number one, and it's like that, there's more to this one sign almost identical, but you're going to move your finger as whatever you're talking about, like one, you do like this, and it's stars, you do like this, and like you people, you use two fingers like this, but not Kootenai, you do like this. One, that's one. 1 week in Christmas.
I'm Sophie Matt. I work with the Kootenai culture as a history book writer, and I'm going to say the English words for Alec, and he'll interpret them in Kootenai and in the sign language. Paper.
Ketukliskas.
Over there, that way. Over there, that way.
Ne solekseet. Ne aan solekseet. Ne aan solekseet.
5.
Number 5. Yeko.
There's plenty.
Yulakane.
Hand.
Akina.
Did he or she separate it?
Yanqat. Kasqa, kasaqa. Yanqat.
Deer.
Chipqa. It's chipqa.
Take it.
Chikwate, I'll take it. Chikwate.
Dish.
Atso. Atso.
I looked.
Uchekate. I looked to Chekate.
Great grandfather.
Kamen Kaatsmes. My great grandfather.
Something stuck together.
Kapsen, kia kras kapse, kia kradesekemek, kia kradesekemek.
You go.
Ninko tselan.
salve,
Avumo, Chakme, Chakme,
quarter muskrat,
Nilko, Kukuhan Ko, Nakasitam Kukuhan Ko, O Kalamo, Tukskamna Hanko,
to hold,
to hold, Klik, Kutskatawitskel, Kapsen, Kutskatawitskel, Kamen, Kutskatawitskel,
me or mine,
Kamen, Kamen, Hulisne, Kamen, Hulisne,
you,
Ninko,
bread,
Asne, Aktisitam, Kekos, Klokosaka, Aksmakin, Kasikiakane, Konis Nakenes, Nakam Nasa, Atokokiasane, Kekos,
your head,
Yeah. Kaaksap,
bacon and pig,
Kiloksata, Kapisan, Kolamon, Kikach, Kiloksata, Tsunat, Kilokoliam, Kiloksata, Kiloksata,
nose,
Kolna,
shell,
Komchak, Nana,
his or her pants,
Ninko is, Kalakpo, it's, what do you say, you, in front of you, when you say him or her, you kind of point to one side this way, him or her.
come here,
Sanna, Chikan, two words in Indian, both means the same thing. Come here, Sanna, or Chikan,
snow,
Akso, Kwasan Kasaso,
none, there isn't any,
Sone, kakasone, sone, kakasone.
Eyes.
Kakasna.
Butterfly. Jesus Christ.
خسئنام خسئس يا قسم كلميك
Bone.
Mark.
Your mother.
Nenko Barnes.
Medicine.
Awamo.
Don't.
March. Tokwa kolabonene almost the same. No. March. But the way you hold your hand, certainly don't.
Accent.
Accent.
Sleep.
Komne da.
My name is Adeline Mathias. I'm a Kootenai Indian. I've lived here on the reservation of all my life. And my age is 73, and I am asked to do a little work here as a sign language in my native tongue.
Money, nail, metal, nilku.
Nisko, ka ak okunmet at sasoni kamin nisko. At ukom nakakano na kilkats na amak.
You, ninku.
Kamin, yung nakani, as kaakal, as kagukupukang, kamin.
Kitten, busnana.
Un asete, posnana, kamin, kakitsa, kas nakakalutskan, at unamatik-tikik.
Shoes, moccasins, sand.
Ni pikak, kakasukwene, aksmaknik, detislukso, San ag nukmisa nausan miitki takassukuakatene suyapi sanis taknaunan kami kisuwitikini suyapi sanis
Spoon, pitzak.
ni pikak at nitkina aksmagnik pitzaks at kakhalitkin akuklisis kuil yamus at nitkin pitzakis nausan mit kitahas nilkus at suyapi un akullisnit atus ikmuni
Woman, girl, palki.
sukuakatene palki nausan mitki ake asaqaltes sukuakates ilkamnintik palki nananintik
Your grandfather, Papanis,
ni pikak nakane kapapa kasatisne kaksik kause ninse kamen kama agnikes
who, kala,
kasa kinsatsamo kasa kinilkit
what, kapsen,
kapsen aksisap kapsen
dress and shirt, akatwumsa,
nausan mitki akatum siya suyapi akatum siya taskitkin atus kapiskanit tinipikak at nitkanhol nitsupka at nitknisne akatum siya nataha nausan mitki sasyone kas nitkin aksmagnik at sininsit amuho nakwilt at kanan hamni
point, as in stick game, kunami,
kamin atun naswat ni kaskas kamin atun ini nasukin at kunamini
sugar, kokse,
ni pikak sune kokse at kiskene aksmagnik at kakyam nukwa agit science at kakikas akanukunuk ni nukwa kukakan kapsins nitkin tchalik at nukukakini nukwa slak nukuk takas at kokse sigik nataka ok unamus suyapi kamatikchap kokse takas kamin atuskilkin
he, she thinks, wants to, kalwine,
kaswine kasa titkat sak kasa paski kapsens
black, kamkokokul,
yunakane kapsen at kaksik kamkokokol iyamo kamkokokol kapsen paktsnana kamkokokol
all of it, everything, kapi,
kape kapsen kape yunakane kapsen naamak
tobacco or cigarette, yakit,
pikak aksmagnik at nitkine at nitmukone yakets nausan miitke kas suyape at nitkine iskak amaks at watse tinas kas atun akursilik atun ikinokokne
fire, match, akin koko,
atun iskne akin koko tsukopkots atun iskne atun itkine kuik
island, Akankme.
Na agitska agitsqats an in shunqo akoqnok in sakqanqmene at qakene aqsmaknik keen Papus Islands at qasate aqsmaknik dakhas nasqals khat at khmaqakene aqastat es aqanqmes
Eggs agmakan.
Tuqtqamna nintik nislumayets khas ninsuks nas amaks at wankhoni nis at qakahi at naktsatikt at naqaps agmakanes
Beaver Sinna.
Nepikak aqsmaknik at nitkakunishne na kanasaqaps woos at nitkakunishne sinas at nupishne at tsukwati quwatesis at naqullimuna at namatiktsisuyapis at tsikamasinkin muniniskus at naqullilikiik
Good Sukne.
Sukne wineket sakil qasakuk aqsmaknik
Bad Sahanne.
sahanne nausanmitke kyunaka aqsmaknik sakil qats kwelqaps komnaqaqa
Kootenai Ksanka.
Ksanka na qapkawitqanok na agitsqa ne enta kotmek aqasqaxullini skikisaqani Ksanka aqsmaknik
They, he, she went that way. Is Kanache.
Nis qanaqa qasa kuqi aqsmaknik palki saktitqat sakyunaqa aqsmaknik
Sit down. Isaknoon.
hasqukan skinsatin qamakil isakno
Man. Titqat.
sukwakatene titqat nausanmitki
It's dark. Tsilmili.
wat minukka qahe natanik tsuatam tstakhas at tsilmietne atulaqawukat titnalan
Grandma for girl. Katiti.
kamen katite tisnamo agklies kaksik masyan tsukwatap ni kamen keep kama desin itaksiknap nisnaw sanmit kitaknawnan kamiki
Your arm. Aklatnes.
taknawnan nan kamiki tnas inikaaksat na nikqasit isnine at qakena aqsmaknik kwisqa aksatnam nee
He, she drummed. Tamuhone.
tamukhune qasa paske saktitqat
Eat.
utsakisne
Sankini. Oh, good.
utsakisne aqamit sesu kuik
Stomach. Tripe. Aquum.
qapisquakaten aqsmaknik khaltin qapsin akumes aquqtes qapinatamne
Frog. Watak.
ka aqukinmetun iksataqat na kananokonok toha tuyo witsikene watak
Yesterday, walkwa.
ni waskwa kamen utinache kos nit kawhache aksmaknik sakil akaspas nemone akin sakapsis.
He, she, they're here. Wache.
Kapekasa nukwe kias lakapes maus masakaka mawakit nis kanache.
Do you know?
Ninko kinupha kapsen.
He, she came out. Nagkakamne.
Tet katsagpaski iskawakas akaham na kos agitsais.
I'm here. Wache.
Kamen nausan mitke huwache na hansanamke kutsetken kapsen.
Oh, lu'u.
Ni pikak aksmagnik at tsukwati kapsens tsupkas nis mamakisis at nitin kaknits at ninsisuoes nitin sukso sanis akatumsatis at ninsimaks at sinsukons kaya kakin akin kaskaps is at kalitkin akuksantis
Water. Wu'u.
Squakatene, wo na aguknok, akanhonok kape, kwilka, akasit, wo
Nan. Lu'ne.
kamen, sasone, kamen sone, khasten, kawanikitse, skilopne, sasone, kamen khasten. Yeah, sadness.
Akahumsa?
Akatumsa.
Akatumsa.
Your dress. Like a shirt. You'll have to explain it. You'll have to say, akatumsa. They know you're talking about shirt.
Yeah.
But when you say akatumsa, that's women's dress.
Let's see, how did you say, what's the sign for spoon? Is that pitzak?
Yeah, pitak. You just go like this. They make it from the big game's horn. And they get that and they fix it somehow. And
Especially buffalo.
yeah, they still have them in places. They keep it for just for, you know.
Now, is there another word, pitak?
Pitak.
Is there another word that sounds like that? Because I heard you saying something else that I thought sounded different. Maybe not. Maybe you were
Maybe not.
saying that and I
Maybe,
I might say pitzka.
maybe,
That is to cut. Pitzka.
maybe pitzak or pikak.
Pikak.
Yeah, that's
That
what
means
is that?
long, long time ago.
Oh.
Pikak.
Mm-hmm.
But pitzak is spoon. Yeah, almost the same.
And come in, what is that? That means
Come in.
Coming.
Come in.
That
Me.
meaning,
Me.
okay.
Come in. I was telling them that when they kill a deer and how the women start in, I just say one because they used to do a whole lot. They, if it's green and fresh, they cut the hairs off. In them olden days, there was no such thing as iron knife. They get it from the elk blades, and they sharpen it on the rocks. Sure, they sharpen it on the rocks, and it will come sharp enough to cut the hair off. And then when they're done cutting all the hairs off, then they soak it in the water again for another night. Then the next day they have a pole. They clean a nice pole, get the what's called off, you know, and it's smooth and nice, and they throw it over. And then again there, they have a different kind of instruments nowadays that they use that comes from white people's metal or whatnot, you know. But in the olden days I'm talking about, when there was no such thing. And also that another object, another tool that they get to scrape the grain off of the deer comes from the same thing, from a big game. And it's shaped like this, and it's also kind of sharpen it. And they pull the grains off with that, you know. There's another way of cleaning the inside. They throw it over a hole, and they also make a horn, and they sharpen the horn as it is sharp, and they get the inside meat off. What do you call the inside of the cow that's right next to the skin? Yeah, but there's always something there. You have to clear and clean that too. They set and they go like this to it. Or if not, if they don't want to do it, they still use this tool to scrape. They scrape that clean too, the meat off. So it's all off. They turn it, and then the grain, the hair was cut yesterday, today is the grain. They take everything off, just clean like. Then when that's done, then they wash the blood off of the skin. You know, it's bloody.
Did they ever use shell or obsidian to scrape?
Shell.
Like a seashell?
Not around here, none that I know of. Maybe elsewhere some other countries, some other places, I mean, you know, they have different things of doing that we do here, you know. They might have a big strong shell too that they use, like they make their nesters bags from the grass or whatever, you know, and they make it pretty. They make it. I was saying that how they make the bucket from here, they go up in the mountains and they get those, there's a name for it in the Indian, and I don't know about the English. And these are tough weeds and tough trees, like little trees. They take it and they weed that, they, you know, fix it into just like if it's your pot. And they can put it in the bonfire. They can put it in the fire because it'll burn. They just set it aside next to where they make a thing like this, go over the fireplace. And then when they're ready to boil meat, and they have a bunch of rocks in the fire, and they make sure it's good and red, and then they pour water in that sack that they fixed, and they throw in their meats in there, you know. Then they take the red rocks and they throw it in there, in the water. And then right now it boils, and that's how they boil their water. I mean their meat, you know, because they cannot put there, and they had no tin, nothing to put in the fire like we do nowadays. That's how they boil their meat, because mostly they're barbecued by setting it next to the bonfire, like ribs, and it's barbecued there for several hours. And then they dry meat, you know, they make a drying rack and build fire underneath it. That jerky meat, nowadays I see it in the stores, they have different kinds of jerky meats. And there wasn't a thing that they didn't know how to survive, and they survived that long before the whites come around, see. And that's the thing I want to tell the kids, you know, that they should know that and remember. And then when they're done, I won't go all the way how they tan it, but I've already set it in there. And then that's when they sew their dresses. No needle and no thread. Everything, every one thing comes from the deer. They get the awl, they make that, you know, by one of them sharp little extra bones in there, and they sharpen it like, you know, on the rocks, make it sharp. And then they have the sinew that comes from the blade of the deer right in here. There's two pieces that come right on that there. They're always careful with that. They take the whole thing and they get the meat off, and they take the sinew, and they dry it, and that's their thread. Then when they cut off moccasins, then they put the all in there, and they put the sinew in. That's how they sew everything by just that. And I told them that today, when I knew myself, I used to use chattel machine. You know, I still have one that I've had for years, and I still use it. Where I have electrical machine too, and it's going this far now. We do it electrically away now. Everything goes by electricity. But before that, there was no such thing. And before the horses and everything that come here, the Indians used to be on a foot when they'd move camp, you know. And way later, the horses come. There was no horses around here, nothing.
Did they use dogs around here for carrying stuff?
Well, there was no dog here. I'm talking about a million years ago. The Eskimos do that, you know, the Alaskan people. But really, I never would say that they use dogs for their transportation of such. But when the horses started coming, and they still make those, what do you call those that they carry?
Driveway?
Yeah. Use that. And even here, when I knew myself, I was already old, that these people that lived here, they'd all moved to Summers, and they'd fish there year-round, all winter months there. They just there, they'd camp in teepees, and they'd fish every day. That's how they make extra dollars to get their flour, sugar, coffee, and whatever, you see. They exchange it with the white people there. And at the same time, they dry their fish, and they eat fish. And some others go out hunt, and they dry meat. And what they preserve, and what they pick, and dig, and roots, and wild berries, and that's what they live on. And then the dresses made, I was saying, you know, women folks, they always have to have their dresses. And they get the bear out in the winter months. They look for the dens, and they get the bears, and they shoot it and drag it out. And they do the same thing as they do the deer. And when they get it home, they also make dry meat out of their deer meat. And the tallow that's got there, that's for their grease to fry things with, you know. And some of them make it for their cream, for their faces, you know, and stuff. It was for everything to eat and to put on your face and, you know, things. And the bear meat, too, they eat that. They try it, too. But you do not eat the bear meat, too much of it, in the first time, because you're really going to get sick. It's too rich. Then they pull the skin off, and they tan the skin, the bear skin. Only on one side. They leave the hair on, and they tan the one side of it, and it's just soft, and it's got the hair, and it's so big. And that's their beddings. Yeah. And the big elks is tanned big, I don't know, maybe 20 some of it, they make their teepees. And then some of it use it for blankets too. And the men folks make their clothes from the deer skins, so does the women. And that's how they used to live and survive. They
I think your food finally got
Yeah,
here.
really. Yeah.
I think they just pulled in.
I know.
Did you see them already?
Yeah, I saw it coming over there. Several. It's a poor way to survive, but really they were used to it, and they did. Now, one guy stood up one time and he said, I was an orphan when I was really young. I don't know if you guys know Chuck Hunter. You know him?
Yeah.
He was saying that in one place. He said, we were pitiful and poor. Our dad, we only had dad to raise us. He was the dad and the mother to us. And us kids, and we used to go down, so down that someday we'd almost starve. There was a few of us kids. And we wouldn't be sitting there and just press a button and have water come in and cook our meals on electric range. Those days, Dad used to send us out to go get snow and melt snow. That was our water. And we'd have to split the wood and haul wood in enough to do us for the night. Next day, over and over, all through how many months of winter. That's how we used to do it. Now you kids all lazy. All you have to do is turn the switch and here's your cooking outfit or your water running in, and still you don't do those things. That's what he was telling the kids, the children.
That's clear.
We're done. There they are. They're
Oh, really?
washing.
Oh, are we done now? Okay.
Yeah.